As an industry, we have been Google first for many years. One of the changes over those last 12 months is that we've seen a big rise in people starting to use LLMs. So that's things like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini. I think the way we're going to have to start changing our strategy is looking how we can rank within those spaces now. It's not just thinking, okay, we're fine in Google, these are our rankings. It's multi-touch now, and it's really understanding where our performance is across those different spaces.
And that does tie into PR as well, because for years, lots of campaigns have been made for Google. They've been made for links and link targets. So moving away from that, unlinked mentions are going to be so much more important, and sort of tracking things across not just Google, but across social, across different platforms.
I think from our client perspective, the biggest impact we're seeing is when it comes through to traffic. There is something called the Great Divide we're seeing over the past few months, where as people get their questions answered directly in search, they're having to click on the website, we're seeing zero-click search happen, and the Great Divide is where impressions go up. So a lot more people are searching, but because their answers are being directly in the search results, they're not making clicks. And whilst it is quite scary, it's something that we have to accept is going to happen. And I think what we need to do is try to make sure that when it's a potential for our client to be featuring AI, that we're optimizing it to be in that space.
If people have been doing good EAT signals for the past few years anyway, that hard work will continue to pay off. Google looks for citations through the expertise on someone's website, but also it looks to earned media and reputable sources to recommend products to. So that work is still really important to do.
Yeah, I can see that when we look at the citations that come through from those different LLMs, like ChatGPT, like Perplexity, a lot of it comes from places like Reddit, The Times, really high-level news publications. And in digital PR, we've been building links in those publications for a long time. So hopefully, digital PR is going to get even more important in our strategies.
Yeah, exactly. And it gives us some opportunities, because through these tracking tools, and where you mentioned the different citations that we find, we can add those sources to our media lists and make sure we target them specifically.
On the keyword tracking side, I think we're going to see a pretty significant change there as well. For the longest time, we've just tried to track maybe 100 keywords for each client, and they've been the goal. I think as search becomes more conversational, it's not just about tracking a keyword like contact lens. Someone won't go into an LLM and just search for contact lenses. They will go in and say, what is the best contact lens provider in the UK? So I think rather than just tracking a single keyword within LLMs, what we're going to do is start to track it at prompt level. So you would have contact lens as a topic, and you would track maybe 30 prompts, and their best guesses of what you think a user would search for. And then you can get a score of how visible you are across those prompts, how often your brand is mentioned, how often you linked, what's the sentiment, is it positive or negative? And then we can really be able to measure how that's going. So if you're going to take anything away from this video, you need to start measuring and optimizing for this now. We've got technology doing this in-house, but we'd strongly recommend for any brand that they start to look at understanding how they're performing in LLM search across all the different spaces.
From a PR point of view, it's just stick with that relevance, and it doesn't mean that links aren't important. They're still really important. It just gives them a different layer of importance, and it means that you need to focus on those brand mentions and not kind of discard them because they're not passing link equity.
I think with all of this, it does show how important brand is going to be.
Yeah.
And I think people have to be prepared to be able to invest in that level to improve your brand.
Yeah.
It's not just about optimizing a single page anymore. It's about looking at your brand as a whole and trying to make it as relevant as possible.